and here we go. So here's what's going on with the Zoom meetings, what I want to do coming up. I want to use these primarily for discussion purposes, kind of seeing your reactions to things. Like today we'll look at the feudalism sources and those types of things. Hold on a second, I got to plug something in. We'll use that for the feudalism sources and those situations, and then just some announcements for Thursday. After class today, I'm going to post a CPA number 8. Okay, and the way to complete CPA number 8 is to either I'm going to send it it's going to be in a Word document. Okay. And the way to complete CPA number 8 to get those points for that is to either send it to me in an email or a Canvas message before class Thursday at 11. Is that cool? All right. So that's how you would get the points on that, because I want to have another discussion about sources that we're going to be looking at over the next 48 hours. And those include looking at the Battle of Hastings, a primary source. We're going to watch the next half hour of that Norman video. Hopefully you guys like that. I thought it was a pretty cool video, pretty well done by the BBC. The narrator's got a pretty cool voice. Okay, so I like that guy. So we'll watch the next half hour of that, and then we'll use the primary source. Then I'm going to bounce. You're going to do some comparisons between the sources with those. Okay, so that's what we'll do for CPA number 8. I'll post that after class today, and we'll get down to business on those. So as far as like the PowerPoints and the notes go, we'll do a very brief look at some PowerPoint notes here. Then I will go back in after class, partially narrate some of the slides. Okay, so how you know that the slides are going to be narrated is when you open up the PowerPoint, you'll see before you click play, you'll see a little down in the bottom right-hand corner, a little speaker guy down there. Okay, so you'll know that that slide is narrated, or you can just go ahead and play the PowerPoint, and some of them you'll have my voice on, and some of them you won't. Okay, so some, like I said, the ones that I feel more important that we need to hit on, I'll narrate those out and get those going for you guys. Cool. All right, so that's what's going on so far. As we're getting into some things. Then also on Thursday, I want to start talking about the next step in our paper, all right, which is getting the annotated bibliography going. So we'll talk about some things. I'll put some handouts out there about what an annotation is and what we need to start doing along with that. Is that cool? All right. So you'll figure out what's going on with that as we move to the next level and the next step on our paper there. And then right before class today, all right, if you didn't do it, make sure you get it in the forum post about the sources and feudalism that we were doing over the weekend. Make sure you get a post and a reply into a classmate. If you haven't done that already, make sure you get that done, hopefully either today or tomorrow, so that we get full point value on that. Okay. Like I said, because it's remote and we're online, yeah, I live in the real world too. All right, kind of. I think I just live inside my house though at this point. I'll be flexible with those things going forward, but don't let things slide too long, because then it's all going to creep up on you at the end. Okay, everybody cool with that? Awesome. All right, so what I want to do is I want to kind of get into our sources and what we were talking about for today. All right, so I'm going to share the screen to start with here, and we're going to look at feudalism PowerPoint, and I want to start to get into some things that we can show with that. Okay, so we'll do from the current slide there, but some of the things also that I want to get into. Sorry if you hear that craziness in the background. That's my idiot dog who has been awake for 10 hours already. Let me fold these up here. one of the things I want to show you guys is chapter 9 starts with, I'm hitting the wrong buttons here on a couple of these things, sorry. I want to show you just a few of these things. Well, I'll get back into these notes later. But what's happening here? Why did it stop sharing that screen? I'll tell you what, I mean, some of these things are kind of bizarre on how poorly everything was working perfectly before class. And now, no. Isn't that how it always works? So let's take a minute here while I pull back up this PowerPoint. All right, take a minute and then let's start throwing in. I read some of your posts this morning on feudalism. Start throwing some things in the chat here that you wrote down in your posts that if somebody kind of walked up to you and said, hey, I need to know something about feudalism, can you tell me anything you can about feudalism? What would be some of the things that you would put into those into that discussion? Okay, and then like I said, I'm gonna go get this PowerPoint here real quick, and we'll talk about those things here in a minute. All right. So let's see. I'm gonna try to get this thing pulled back up here, and then we'll get rolling here. Pardon the interruptions here. You know, just craziness as usual. There's always going to be hiccups and things going on. I'm scouring my computer right now trying to find why the PowerPoint's not working. Jeez, Pete's. I'll tell you what. I can't even figure out how to come back and view you guys at this point. What a shame. God almighty. All right. Okay, Kanzi throwing some things in there, some terms. I like that. Vassals, fief, good. Loyalty, protection, good. Let's get some other ones going. I like that one, certainly. Let me see here. Let's see if I can't bring this PowerPoint back up here. I mean, you don't even have to type it in. You can throw it out there on the microphone if you want to as well. Fishy said, Lord gave, fiefs, vassals. These are all good terms. These are all good terms. Yeah, I like that. Hannah says separation from the north and the south. That was where I wanted to start on the PowerPoint. Is the first part of chapter 9 talks heavily about the differences between north and south. And there's a really cool stat on page 240 if you got your book in front of you. There's a really cool stat on page 240 in the kind of the middle of the top paragraph on 240. If you got your book, I'll let you kind of pull that open and see what you got there while I try to figure out how to pull this PowerPoint back up. Just can't believe the computer's slow. It's amazing. Wow. What a shame. Let's see here. Holly says, yeah, oaths and contracts. That's another great one. Oaths and contracts. So if you got your book, page 240, all right, it says, though the Mediterranean states were small in size, they were considerably in Italy. Anybody? Bueller? Anybody there? Hello?
Hey. Good job.
Okay, we're back. All right. I may or may not. I'm trying my hardest. I'm genuinely not a person that is quick to anger, but I may be throwing this thing against the wall here in a minute. So if you guys see if you just see the computer look like it just takes off somewhere, all right, it's just because I threw it off my balcony and into the river. All right. So I want to try my hardest here and share this PowerPoint that I'm going to try to bring up again. And we'll come back to you guys here as well. All right. I noticed that, and while again it's trying to pull that up, I noticed that, and we got about, like I said, about 10, 12 minutes left here to keep talking. I noticed that as far as the fief ceremonies go, most of you chose the fief ceremonies of the 12th century, right? Kenzie, though, you chose the first one. I remember reading yours. You chose the feudal obligations, the first one that we looked at, where mutual duties of vassals and lords. I think you chose that one, right? So everybody's choosing different ones that they felt were most helpful in explaining feudalism in its major terms. All right. So again, let me try to see if I can't get our PowerPoint to come back up here. But it again looks like we are going to be hopefully able to get a little bit up here with that, but what else? Like I said, this is just, I'm just doing this off the cuff now. The whole thing is just blown up in my face like a firecracker. It's just amazing. I mean, I sat here, I kid you not, I sat here, I've been at this dumb computer since 8:30 this morning trying to get everything set, and then as soon as I click on it, the whole damn thing blows up in my face. It really is kind of depressing, and also, you know, if I was you guys, I'd be laughing at me too. All right, and that's okay. I'm sure I'll laugh at myself in a little bit. The chapter 9 sources that we have are the ones that are in the omnibus aren't very good. All right, I'm not really a fan of those ones that are in the omnibus. That's why I gave you the fief ceremonies and those types of things. So one of the things, again, that I want to make sure you guys get is the like the terms, the major terms. And it looks like all of you got those out, like vassal and fief and those types of things. But another term that I want to make sure that you get down, and I'll write it in our chat here so that you have it as well, is a term called sub-infeudation. Okay, and that's on page 242. All right, so make sure that you get sub-infeudation, page 242 at the bottom, because that's an interesting one to me, because it can bring up all those different things with the fief ceremony. All right, that especially with the fief ceremonies of the 12th century, right? You had to, one of the cool things, if you took the oath of fealty with between vassal and lord, that you had to basically make a contractual agreement to figure out who you owed what to, right? And that's sub-infeudation. All right. So one of the cool things is if you flip your book over to 244, last paragraph, all right, in your book, I'll write that in here in our chat as well, 244, last paragraph. It talks about how complicated sub-infeudation got. The system, as it says, sounds fairly straightforward, but human relationships tend to become very complicated. Two vassals of one lord might, because of equal amount of services they perform, hold fiefs of comparable size, yet one can trace his lineage back to Charlemagne. So basically, who owes what whom? Okay, on whose, if you have done the hand sandwich with your vassal, and you've done a hand sandwich with another vassal, all right, and those two guys go to war, you have to essentially explain out in your contract who you would be on the side of. Does that make sense? Right, so these are like early proto-alliances almost, okay, that we get to later on in European history, all right? Again, let me try here to get our PowerPoint up and running. Looks like it's gonna maybe start working for me. All right, we'll see if that can come up there. Any other things, you know, as far as feudalism that you guys, in terms of commonalities, like what did you see across the board, like with all these things that you maybe found, you know, a commonality with as far as the sources go? There's terms, yeah, there's vassal and there's fief and there's all that stuff, but what are, like, did you guys find any commonalities between these sources? If you had something maybe to pick out that was interesting, or anything along those lines, what do you guys think? The floor's open. I can hear you. Oh, I like that one. Kenzie said it was all highly structured and organized. Excellent. If you can see these sources, if not, I'm talking about the feudal capitularies from the 9th century. Okay, that we handed out, that one right there, where it says capitulary concerning freemen and vassals from 816. This one is really interesting because this highlights what your book talks about, which is that everybody thinks that feudalism is this process where it was, you know, a domination process from one person sort of dominating the other in the relationship, and that's simply not true. As we talked about with this source, the vassal has some rights, put those in air quotes, but it talks about how the vassal has many rights. For instance, if the lord had committed adultery with his wife, or if he reduced him to unjust servitude, all right? So there's all these different types of things where you could break the contract with your vassal if you could prove, like, hey, this guy's not a good guy, all right? That I've become in fief to, and I would like to break my contract with him if at all possible. All right. So yeah, that's again another one of those things that would be awesome for you guys to pick up on and be able to explain to somebody were you needing to explain feudal relationship. It looks like I might be able to share my screen again and look at some things here with the PowerPoint. Let's try this again. And then you guys kind of give me some head nods here. Can you see this screen that I'm sharing right here? Not yet. Okay, almost. We'll try this again. Yes, no, maybe so with this screen. Anything come up yet? Yes, no? Feudal relationships? Yeah, okay, all right. Again, so these are those things that we want to talk about here, and I'll put our faces over here for this point. Again, Lord Vassal, All right, landlord, serf, and peasant is another interesting one, because there's two levels of these ships. Landlord is a different type of ship. Make sure that you guys have in our notes here subdivision. Very complicated set of allegiances. To whom do you owe service if something were to happen between the guys that you have a relationship with? Also, right, really important part of our book is on bottom page 242 as well, where it says a fief did not necessarily have to be a piece of land. All right, that's big. Right? That's big to have understanding, because over time there's not any more land to fief out and parcel out. You have to start using things, as you talked about, like tax exemptions or economic privileges or hunting rights. Like you would grant me, I will protect your battle and you will allow me to hunt, on your land. Okay, so all these things organized out over time. Did anybody where the Roman Catholic Church was at all during this situation? It was towards the back of what we were reading, 245 and 46. If you pick up on that at all, and I'll stop sharing the screen there, and we can maybe get some chat going here for the last 5-6 minutes we got going here. Did you see where the church was at all during this situation? The church is trying their hardest to exert some control over these feudal relationships. Did you guys pick up on any of those? What if I said peace and truce of God? Did you guys remember reading that at all? The peace and the truce of God. All right. That's a big part that we need to also make sure that we get from chapter 9, the peace and the truce of God. That's the church trying to exert some control over the situation, right? Where they basically are saying, look, you guys are making all these contracts and we're going to try to exert some type of force, as it talks about, where they try to protect certain groups from being attacked. They try to, in the truce of God, parcel out certain seasons of the year where you can't have the knights fighting against one another, mainly during the Christmas and Easter seasons. Okay, so those are all important things that that I want you guys to have an understanding of as we are moving forward. I'm going to share the screen here for the next couple minutes, and hopefully this will pop up, because this is leading into what I want to do for Thursday's class. Okay, and I'll move our little guy over here. Basically, what you guys are doing for Thursday is we're trying to figure out how we get from Anglo-Norman, from Anglo-Saxon to Norman England. Okay, you guys are going to be using your sources, and you're going to be using the video that we're going to be watching from that 20-minute mark onward. I'll explain all of it in the page and stuff that I'll post on Canvas here in a little bit. All right, but you're going to be using the video, and you're going to be using your book. The pages that we want to be reading with this are in our book called The Anglo-Norman Realm, pages 259 to 268. 259 to 268. Okay, and you're basically going to figure out how England goes from being Anglo-England to essentially a conquered place, Norman England. All right, and this comes back to that guy that we talked about in class before all this craziness hit. The last day we met, we talked about a guy named William of Normandy. Okay, so those things, I'll write that down here in the chat as well. 259 through 268. Okay, those are the pages that we're going to be reading for Thursday and comparing the sources on the video. Where again, I'll share the screen and show you where we pick up with the video. I can hopefully click on that. We stopped the Norman video like around the 20-minute mark the other day. Okay, so you're going to pick up on that right around there. All right, and you can see. Hopefully, can you guys see what the screen we got going here? with Canvas now. You guys see that? Cool. All right. And then again, this is that YouTube video that we were using from the other day, where we're starting around the, again, around the 20-minute mark, and you're going to watch the rest of it going out. All right. So right here, okay, right from this mark around 20 minutes, 15 seconds, you're going to watch the rest of it. Okay. For Thursday. And I want to, like I said, you know, I'll try my hardest, like I always do, to make sure that this thing tries to work. All right. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it doesn't. But we're all trying our hardest during this craziness to at least try to have some sense of normalcy with the class. I'm really happy that you guys are all here. Good to see your faces. It's fun to talk a little bit about history just to make things seem normal, you know. But the big thing is, okay, we got about 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes left before we need to get out of here. The big thing coming up for Thursday, I'll post a partially narrated PowerPoint, the stuff that we couldn't get to today because the computer went haywire. I'll post that up on there. I'll get this video up, so if you need to watch it and laugh at me again and get a few of the notes, you can do that. And then the sources that we're going to put up there, the video source and the primary source on the Battle of Hastings in 1066. Okay, and you're reading that, and then the CPA, when I post that here in a little bit, the CPA will make sense about what we need to answer. Okay, and then last but not least, remember to get credit for that CPA and get those points registered in for your CPA, you want to fill out that Word document, or you don't have to fill out a Word document. You just got to make sure that you send me either that Word document or the answers to that, your reactions to that in a Canvas message or in an email sometime before 11 o'clock on Thursday. Okay, so that'll be our work coming up for the next 2 days. Is that cool? All right. I hope I'm not crushing you too much with stuff to do. It's, you know, like I said, meeting 2 times a week is great. And, you know, send me feedback. You know, if you guys got feedback on stuff that, you know, that we can make it better, or if those types of things, let me know. Okay. Good stuff. Awesome. All right, guys. So I'll send you a meeting invite. We'll be back in here Thursday at 11, and we'll be good to go on all those things. I'll get everything posted out on Canvas here in a little bit. Cool? Awesome. All right. Thanks for the thumbs up, guys. I'll see you on Thursday.